Welcome to Threshold, a place where we explore the sacred in the ordinary and the beauty in the in-between. I'm Molly Wilcox. I'm a wife, a mom, a writer, and your guide as we step over life's thresholds together. Whether you've been reading my newsletter for years or you're just discovering Threshold here, I'm so glad that you're listening. Together, we reflect on faith, creativity, and the small but meaningful ways we're being transformed in the everyday. Let's dive into this week's reflection. If you looked at my Google Calendar a few years ago, before I had my son, you would see lots of appointments. Normal stuff, meetings, phone calls, an occasional dentist appointment, and maybe an automated reminder for someone's birthday. Then, my son's entry into the world gave my life a new label that I never wanted: birth trauma survivor. But it also gave me a lot of perspective. It ushered in a new era for me that is softer and stronger at the same time. Part of that became reflected in something as simple as my digital calendar. If you looked at my calendar now, it wouldn't make sense to you. I have reminders for lots of birthdays, but the milestones now go well beyond that. A friend is waiting for medical test results. Another friend is gearing up for a hard professional conversation. I write down babies' due dates, appointment reminders, grief anniversaries, and even when it's just a general occasion, like Christmas, I think of who might be having a hard, lonely, or otherwise noteworthy day, and I check in. Some of my friends who have had babies have received countless check-ins from me. Even if I can't show up at their doorsteps due to distance, I try to be persistent, even beyond what some may think solicits a check-in. I remember when I was in a 3 to 6 month postpartum timeframe, a friend checked in on me. She acknowledged that society deems those first 3 months as challenging, but she wanted to check in now, a little later, because she remembered feeling extra lonely herself when people stopped checking in on her. It meant so much to me. I felt seen in my experience as a new mom and cared for by my friend. That small act and the feeling that followed planted something inside of me. I see the art of checking in with people as a kind of holy attentiveness. It's a desire to remember people the way many of us often wish we were remembered. Have you ever had a hard day and felt alone, wondering who else knows? Who else remembers what this day means to you? On my second baby's due date, a friend dropped a gift and coffee on my doorstep, gently saying, "I remember you lost your baby, and I'm with you." I have a new instinct to pause and wonder, who might be hurting today? Who might be sitting in the dark, in the unseen, waiting for someone to drop a reminder at their doorstep that they aren't alone in this? This instinct isn't something I can take credit for. It feels like something that God started cultivating in me, and the more I exercise it, the more familiar and natural it becomes. Scripture talks about remembering almost as a spiritual discipline. Remembrance gives a rhythm to our lives. Remember the Lord your God. Remember one another. Bear one another's burdens. Encourage one another. Weep with those who weep. These are not passive suggestions. They are active invitations, ones that position us close to God's heart as we show up in the way He does. It's about a love that isn't about showing up at the right time or with all the right answers, but a love that is present. Checking in has become an act of obedience for me, not performance. It's tempting to believe that spiritual maturity is about having the right words, great theology, a beautiful prayer, or a neat way to the conclusion of a story. But now, more often than not, I simply feel God nudging me. Reach out, ask how she's doing, send the text, remember the date. Sometimes these nudges come out of nowhere while I'm in the middle of picking up toys or buckling my son into his car seat. It feels like God is gently tapping me on the shoulder with someone in mind, and it doesn't feel like an interruption. It feels like a tender invitation to show up for someone and be attentive to what God is already attentive to. I've always loved the translation of Selah, the word frequently placed throughout the Psalms, to mean more than just pause. It actually could be accurately translated to pay attention. I love reading through the Psalms and in those pauses hearing the whisper from God, look around, pay attention. When our attention is turned to where God directs it, I'm convinced that the art of checking in is really a form of intercession. It's a whisper to another person. You aren't alone. Someone sees the weight you're carrying. Someone is holding a corner of this with you. And it mirrors God's own character. The God who remembers His people again and again, who never grows tired in compassion, who notices the sparrow and counts every tear, has His attention turned on each of us. My calendar is full of reminders. I'm not trying to force myself to be a hero friend, but I confess life is heavy and complicated and people's stories deserve to be held. I know what it feels like to be remembered when I was wondering if anyone saw what I was trying so desperately to hold on my own. Checking in isn't about solving problems or knowing all the right things to say. It's just about being there and honoring what is there, whether it's great news or devastating. I want to be the kind of person who remembers. Thanks for spending time with me today on Threshold. If this episode resonated with you, I'd love for you to share it with a friend, subscribe, or leave a review. It all helps so much. And if you're not already part of the community, you can join the conversation by subscribing to my weekly newsletter on Substack, Threshold by mollywilcox.substack.com. Until next time, let's keep finding beauty in the in-between.